Hey everybody, what's going on? Hellmite here, bringing you another video from Grab the Lantern today. The final edition of the Magical Misadventures set, the Curious Journey, has been released, and 4 new champions have been added to Legends of Runterra, most notably Galio, who I am super excited about because of the interest I have in the new Formidable mechanic, which basically are all 0 power creatures that strike with their health instead of their power, which has a lot of really fun implications on the game, and it was the one thing where during the preview season, there were a lot of like really powerful stuff released. Gnar is like an absolute house. I think Udyr is super interesting. Yuumi is more support for Fated, which doesn't need it, but Formidable was the thing that I was the most excited for because of its sort of unique interactions and the unique way in which certain mechanics work. Now, there were a couple of different ways I could have taken a Formidable deck. I could have played this with Soraka and a lot of the healing spells in Targon to keep them all topped up. I could have played this with the Freljord with all of their health boosting cards and stuff like Braum and Troll Gifts, but I decided at the end of the day, because I hadn't played Poppy when she came out, that I was going to make a Galio Poppy deck, which does have some pretty decent synergies with it for today's video. So let's go ahead and do a look at the card by card. Starting, of course, with 3 copies of Fleetfeather Tracker and 3 copies of Petricite Hound here at the 1 mana mark. Either one of these are good early drops in order for me to actually get off to the races here. This deck is a little bit more aggressive than a lot of other decks. The idea is that I play out a unit rounds 1, 2, 3, and then drop Poppy on round 4 and just start swinging with the Poppy, and then she gets a ton of value by pumping up everybody. She's always going to be able to get the bonus to somebody because of Formidable units having 0 power always, which means that they're basically always going to get the benefit from the Poppy, which is pretty nice. And so the idea is that I need enough 1 drops in order to guarantee one on turn 1. Fleetfeather is really important because it gains Challenger, so I can actually use it to protect the Poppy early on. I'm also running 3 copies of Brightsteel Protector, and Brightsteel and Fleetfeather go together like peanut butter and jelly. You can play the Fleetfeather turn 1, then drop the Brightsteel to give it barrier, trigger its Challenger, and then you have a free challenge on anything you want on that round, which is pretty nice. And Petricite Hound is the first of the Formidable cards, effectively a 2/2 for 1, which is nothing important, but it does synergize well with a lot of the other combat tricks I'm running in this deck. Also at 2 mana, I have Petricite Broadwing, which I think is one of the standout stars of the Formidable units that were released alongside this expansion. This is effectively a 3/3 challenger for 2 mana, which is really good, and if you're able to layer a bunch of health boosting cards on top of it, it gets even better. So again, a very powerful card, and another challenger, which is important to keep the Poppy alive once you hit 4 mana. 1 copy of Pokey Stick. I had a spare card slot. I didn't know what else to put in. Pokey Stick seemed good. That's why it's here. And of course, 3 copies of Sharpsight. We're in Demacia, we play this. Also, 3 copies of Yordle Smith. Now, this is really powerful because obviously equal or less power gain quick attack. That means all of your Formidable cards automatically gain quick attack when he goes to combat. I have challengers with the Broadwing and the Fleetfeather in order to keep him alive when we go to combat if there's nothing he can successfully kill with a strike. And so he ends up being a really good inclusion into this deck, as I'm sure everyone who played during the Yordle Apocalypse is aware of. 3 copies of Durand Protege. This is a really rogue choice, I would say, for this deck list. She doesn't synergize well with Poppy, for example, because she won't get the bonus from Poppy, but the reason I like Protege is for 2 reasons. First, she allows you to potentially pump up or heal some of your early Petricite cards by just giving them that extra point of health and also tough to make them a little bit more sustainable as they go to combat. The other reason I like her is that she's a 3/2, and 3 power is very important. Why, you might ask? Because Fearsome exists, and Formidable units can't block anything with Fearsome. They don't have enough power, and nor will they ever have enough power. So Protege is a must alongside Brightsteel Protector to give me something that can actually block the Fearsome cards as they come in, as that's one of the biggest disadvantages. Spider aggro is a big deal right now, so Protege serves an important role in that regard. Also, 3 copies of Shield of Durand here, which is a new combat trick released alongside this set. Very powerful, especially with Formidable cards. Effectively, this gives them +3/+3, and then another +2/+2 at the start of the next round. Very strong. A single copy of Stress Defense. I'm not running this at multiples because having played it at 3, it's really a bit of a brick. But obviously this has a lot of implications. I can play it defensively in order to just make a big beefy thing turn into a relatively weak unit. But I can also play it on a Formidable card as a combat trick, which is kind of fun. 3 copies of Golden Aegis. If you're able to resolve this when you have Poppy on the battlefield, you just kind of win the game immediately, because not only will you have swung with Poppy the turn you played her, but then you can Golden Aegis to swing with her on the next turn as well, and then immediately when it comes back to you, you go for an open attack, Poppy flips, and if you flip your Poppy, you win on the spot, so Golden Aegis is going to be here as one of the Demacian staples. 2 copies of Petricite Stag. This is another sort of rogue pick, but again, it has that all-important 3 power to let it actually block Fearsome, and I do like it as a sort of another way to protect the Poppy outside of of the combat tricks outside of the challengers. Worst case scenario, I can swing with the Petricite Stag supporting the Poppy. Poppy is going to take no damage from the combat, and then the Stag can kind of stay, the Stag can sacrifice itself for her, which is kind of nice. 3 copies of Poppy, the first champion of the deck. I probably don't need to talk too much about this card if you play during the Yordle Apocalypse, but suffice it to say, Poppy is really powerful in this deck due to the constant +1/+1s you're giving to your entire board. Basically, everything will be able to benefit from this off the first attack, and if not the first attack, then the second attack. And if you flip Poppy, you win the game on that attack in almost every regard. I don't think I've lost with a flipped Poppy while playing this deck. 3 copies of Mountain Drake up the 5 mana mark here. This deck has a fairly low curve because I really want to be curving out perfectly into the Poppy, but Mountain Drake is a bit of a house. This is a really powerful finisher, especially when I'm able to give it quick attack with Yordle Smith, give it additional power and toughness bumps with Poppy, and the fact that Fury gives it +0/+2 just means that it gets like double value from Fury than other cards. So very, very powerful. And finally, 3 copies of Galio. Obviously, he comes down, sort of keeps your entire board topped up if you've been going to a lot of combats, but nothing's been dying. Galio makes sure that everyone stays alive, and then once he's able to flip, you have the ability of not only going to combat with the Poppy and getting her to flip, but then you're going to be able to rally off of the Galio afterwards when your allies take damage, and it ends up being really, really powerful. So definitely a strong card, not necessarily the core of the deck, but a powerful card regardless, and the best finisher I think I have. And that's the deck. It's very exciting. It's very interesting. I've been really grinding the hell out of this on over the last couple of weeks or so. So either way, excited to see how this one does for you guys. So let's go ahead and hop into the games. Here in game 1 against Virtuoso or AFK, playing the LeBlanc Ashe deck. Now, one of the funny things about Formidable, if you haven't put the pieces together yet, is that Frostbite does nothing to Formidable units. They already have 0 power, you can't hurt them. So that's really nice. The LeBlanc I'm a little scared about, but we'll have to see how this goes. I think it probably makes sense to mulligan away the Sharpsight as well, just because I do want early units. See if I can hit a 1 cost here. Double Poppy. This is a really awkward hand, but saved by the Petricite Hound. Let's go. Don't think he'll have anything, and we're getting in for 2 here. One of the quirks I dislike about the Formidable deck is how long it takes a Formidable unit to strike, because the game has to kind of tell you, this is why you're taking 2, because it has an ability that lets it strike with its health, but it does mean if you're hitting with a bunch of Formidables, the 3rd Poppy, you actually hate to see that happen. This is like the exact opposite of what I want with this deck, because I won't have anything to actually protect the Poppy with. So now the question is how I want to handle this. I'm assuming he's going to play another card before he goes to combat with the LeBlanc. I could bring out the... Oh, yeah, Glory Seeker. So I can't play the Poppy into this, sadly. So I think Stag makes the most sense, just to give me a second block. Obviously, you can pull the Stag with... yeah. So that makes sense. I think I kind of want to take the 5, pop the Sharpsight here to keep the Stag alive through this, and then I can bring out the Poppy on the next turn. See how that goes. He's got 5 mana, so... Oh, he's going to use some of it right now. Okay. Flash Freeze, the only unit that it matters against, which is kind of funny. We'll do this just to keep the Stag alive. This is also past the ability to Brittle Steel it, so this should be fine. Okay, Troll Chant, pretty good card. So we're... Ultimately, nothing is going to happen here. My guy's going to take some damage, and of course he's going to get close to the LeBlanc flip. And the sad thing is I don't really have a way, like a really reliable way of protecting the Poppy other than the Petricite Stag, but we'll go for it and we'll see. Because I have to get the Poppy attacking as soon as possible if I want her to flip. So see what he's got. If he runs out a 3rd unit, that's probably fine. I'm going to give him the LeBlanc flip, I think, no matter what happens here. But ideally, on the next round, I can play the Golden Aegis, go back to combat, and we should be okay. Yeah. So we can do this. We automatically gain the bonus because he will always have lower power than the Poppy. Okay, he's blocking here, so he's got a Frostbite for the Petricite Stag. Well, okay, maybe he doesn't know. I mean, he could take all of this, and it doesn't matter, so... I'm not sure... Yeah. Oh, that's right! You can't block with Glory Seeker. So he doesn't want to take 9 then. Maybe he wants to take 9. He's thinking about it. The worst thing for him here is if LeBlanc dies, she'd die right before a flip. Okay, yeah, see, the Brittle Steel is what I read, but that's fine. I just have to get the Poppy flipping. So you are going to get the flip here. And then, assuming he doesn't go straight to combat, what I can do is I can use one of these Poppy's Keeper's Verdicts to tuck the Glory Seeker and make it so that he can't kill Poppy on the backswing, which seems decent to me. Even if he does kill the Poppy, though, I have another one in hand. I hit every single one of them, so... Ooh, Durand Protege, though. That's actually really good. So now Poppy's immune to dying to the Glory Seeker. She's actually going to get frostbitten, but that's fine. Okay, he's still pulling it, though, so he probably has some extra way of getting damage down. Would be my assumption. Yeah, Poppy is going to get frostbit, but I can block here. Take the 6 on the chin, because I need something for the Poppy on the next turn. Okay, Brittle Steel. I probably could have seen that coming. That is the Ashe flip, too. I forgot, they buffed that card, so she flips a lot quicker than she used to. You only need 4 Frostbites instead of 5, which is pretty nice. And also, that Frostbites are irrelevant against this deck, but can't block hoses this deck pretty well. Okay. So he's got the Crystal Arrow in hand. Okay, so what we can do... So I can run out the Galio, give everyone a little bit of extra health here, and still save mana for the Shield of Durand. We can go to combat with the Poppy, get her to pump, and then on the next round, I can Golden Aegis. Whispered Words for the Reputation. Okay. And this is a lethal attack if he doesn't block, so he will be forced to make some sacrifices here, but it's going to depend on what else he's got. He's got a Hand of Gas and basically a full board here, so... Well, thinking about it. Crystal Arrow. Just using this to try and... Okay. He could, and then I wouldn't be able to swing with a Poppy. Because, I mean, I could, but she wouldn't give that much of a bonus. I still probably would. That does nothing. I mean, it does break Galio's spell shield. And it replaces itself, so you don't care that much. Okay, what else? What is this here? Because right now we're trading the LeBlanc, which is fine. I do still have the Shield of Durand as well if I want to keep the Poppy alive. But, like, you're dead if you don't block at least one of the two Formidables. So it's going to depend on what this spell is. It could be Culling Strike. He is in Noxus. That's one of the other, like, super good counters to this deck. Okay, it is the Culling Strike on the Galio, but we can actually win the game here. Because that gives him health, and therefore I'm hitting for 10. So unless he's got a second Culling Strike, we're good. That's irrelevant. It doesn't do anything because I strike with my health. Yep, and he knows it. So, interesting game there. Glad we were able to make it work despite sort of a janky hand. And that's kind of the power you can see of Formidable. I gave a unit a bunch of health, and that means he hits for a ton of damage, and the Frostbites literally do nothing into that. So, really fun. Good to see that happen. Let's hopefully keep it rolling here in a game 2. Back for game 2 against Playmobil, playing a Lee Sin Pantheon deck. Very interesting combination there. Fated did just get a bunch of new tools, though, in the expansion. Really awkward starting hand. Still no 1 cost. Kind of disappointed, but maybe we can top deck a Petricite Hound on turn 1 the same way we did the last game. That would actually just make this hand super, super good, but... We'll see how it goes. Clearly, he's going to be running a spells-focused Ionia deck. You know how it goes. We did top deck the Petricite Hound, so I guess I can't complain too much. And into the Gift Giver, which sadly loses to Petricite Hound. So he can't get any early aggression off, and then we're going to be able to drop the Yordle Smith, I think makes the most sense. Because the Quick Attack is going to almost guarantee that no matter what he does on this next round, we're going to be able to get in for some damage. Trying to think if there's any 3 health. Yeah, okay. So he might choose to chump. Yeah, he's just going to take the 4. That's fine. He's in Ionia. He probably has some stuff to heal. And then, see, okay, another Petricite Hound as well. No poppies yet. I do dislike that. Okay, so what I'm going to do... So we should have enough blocks for everything. Okay, yeah. Run out the Petricite Hound as well. And then, can we top deck a Poppy? That, again, that would just, like, make this. Okay, Stag, not really what I want to see. But I can't complain too much because we're just going to go right back to it. So it's in for a lot of damage here. Yeah, so we're going to be able to really put the corkscrews to him damage-wise. We're not even losing anything. A Golden Aegis would be really good to see here, too. Okay, into the Pantheon. That's a little concerning, but he hasn't made any progress towards Pantheon's quest. Until just now, of course, where he's going to start gemming him. I don't even know that I have a good answer to Pantheon, short of, like, hitting a Mountain Drake on the next turn. Okay, double Sharpsight, which means I can't... Okay, he's just going to go to combat. Right, because he gives Pantheon the big boost. I think I am going to try this. We are going to block here, of course, because I just want to get rid of that dude. It's going to give him a handful of gems. He'll be able to reliably trigger Fated basically every turn for the rest of the game, but you just have to kill this guy because of how good he is with the support procs. So he's got something. He's playing Fated. There's no way he doesn't have anything. Oh, Will. Okay. So you put my guy back on top, or back in my hand, and then Pantheon hits in for 8 for free. That actually does seem pretty good. Okay, yeah, and then you automatically get your gem to come down, you proc your Fated for the round. Pantheon is already unreasonably large, but we might be able to poke around him. Okay, we do have the Mountain Drake here. We only have mana. Okay, so I think what I want to do... So we can Stag, we can Brightsteel, and then we can just go for a big attack. Let's do this on Brightsteel. Or on Petricite Stag. He shouldn't have anything else. He's on 2 mana. I think we can just swing around him for game. Okay, gemming the Lee Sin for probably Barrier Challenger. You can afford to do that. That's not actually a bad combination there. The Lee Sin Pantheon with like gem support, but I don't think it's gonna matter here. Yeah, because depending on how much damage, we're in for 3. Oh, we're in for 9. Oh, it doesn't matter. Sharpsight. Wow, we're in there. No champions. This dude saw both. He played Pantheon on curve, and he's still going to lose to it. Wow. Absolutely stole this one from this guy, but hey, I can't complain. I didn't see any champions. You saw yours. I still won. Hey, I'll take it. So, going on to Game 3 here. Here for Game 3 against me, Loco, playing the Sivir Akshan Warlords deck. A very, very powerful deck indeed. One that I believe saw professional play as well here. Opening hand's okay, and then it got so much worse. And sadly, we can't top deck the Petricite Hound on the first turn. This time around, he's got the Fleetfeather Tracker, though, so I'm likely getting punched for a bunch of damage on the next round. Mountain Drake? Okay, yeah, he's got the combo. So, not me playing it, but you can kind of see what I'm going for here. And there's literally no reason for me to play this, because not only do I miss out on his proc, but I also just lose the card for free. So, really bad to take 5 damage this early, but again, there's nothing I could have done. And oh my god, this is so bad. I may have to play this. If he comes out with anything else, I do have to play the Brightsteel, because I'm just dead otherwise. Well, there's Poppy. Okay, and he's just going to go straight up for the open attack. That's fine. Please no Golden Aegis. Golden Aegis would be sad, but I can deal with it. Why are you playing that Brightsteel, buddy? Is it because you've got a Golden Aegis in hand that you're going to give Barrier to and then rally? Oh, single combat. Okay, that's fine. I actually can deal with that. I'm going to stress defense, because I think the Sharpsight is more important. I guess, ooh, you know... Oh, Shapestone, okay. I don't think it mattered then in which order I played it. He's got a double Shapestone, though. Oh, I guess he did actually have to because he hasn't played any landmarks. I'm so used to that card automatically giving the +2/+1 because it's just so easy if you're in Shrima to have a landmark down. But for somehow he didn't actually come out with a landmark. So coming with a Mountain Drake, we gotta hope that there's no Golden Aegis in my future. Ooh, Treasure Seeker. That's pretty bad for me. I'm gonna attack because maybe we at least get in for damage. Yeah, he made the right choice there, not doing anything. And I might not have an opportunity to survive. We are sitting on a lot of spell mana. If he open attacks... Okay, second Treasure Seeker. So we do have the ability to develop a little bit. Let's go ahead and Stag. Because it's the most likely to survive any combats it's going to be a part of. We know he's got the double Awakening Sands in his hand. Ooh, Screeching Dragon. Okay. I should have done the math first. I'm pretty sure I die because of the challengers. Yeah, because that's 10 exactly. So what I can do is I can Pokey Stick this guy here and then basically hope that there are no combat tricks in my future. If that last card is a combat trick, I think I die. Okay, we're going to live with one. We're going to live with one. Oh, 2. I can't do math. Okay. But I'll take it. He didn't even kill the Petricite Hound. So now we have the ability to potentially make a really big counter push. Because I do have just an absolutely absurd hand advantage here. And I know he's got the 2 Waking Sands, which he can play for defense, which it looks like he's going to do here. That's fine. If he plays both of them, honestly, I may just swing with the Fleetfeather to remove the Screeching Dragon and just, like, play out the rest of the hand normal. He is going to play them both. Okay, that, I think, is fine. I don't care. If you want to waste 4 mana on 2 guys that are going to go away at the end of the round, that's okay for me. Could be a single combat in my future, but I don't think that removes anything. And I'm trying to think of what else he could have that could kill the Mountain Drake if he goes to combat. He's got a spell in hand. Ooh, Concerted Strike. Okay. That is pretty good. The hope I had was that I could challenge it with the Fleetfeather Tracker and kill it, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. I will still off a unit because this is free. And the problem is I can't really go for like a big attack because he can like take most of it and then still have enough of an offense left. I just need to stabilize here. I have enough blocks. Okay, second Screeching Dragon, which is fine. If I play Galio, I leave myself without the mana for Sharpsight, which is pretty unfortunate. The dragons have a lot of options too as to what they can kill. So what we'll do is we'll avoid playing anything, look for the Sharpsight to potentially bait the drakes. Okay, and then we are going to be forced to make some trades here. Yeah. Okay, well, Sharpsight here just to remove one of the dragons. I can come out with the Petricite Broadwing on the next turn, which won't be able to kill the Screeching Drake because it's going to heal a little bit from the Fury proc, but that's okay. Yeah, I actually think we're in an okay spot, especially like top deck Poppy would be huge here. Okay, Protege, that's fine though, because we can give Fury, or we can give Tough here. Golden Aegis for a rally. Again, kind of unfortunate, but that's actually okay. We're going to give it multiple Fury procs, though. I think what I want to do is wait for him to attack, because he will. He'll kill the Broadwing. Oh, he's not going to kill the Broadwing. Okay. I can't reliably make headway into this, unfortunately. So he gets to go kill another unit with the Screeching Dragon. Yeah, and there's the Sivir. That's pretty bad for me as well. Trying to think of what else he could have in hand. I still feel like the Galio isn't a good play here because of the ability for him to combat trick. We're going to do it, actually. Because assuming he doesn't have anything, this is actually pretty big. And Galio is slightly resistant to removal. Now, the funny thing about how Quick Attack works is into Formidable is that because you strike first, you actually weaken the unit before it gets to hit you back. Which makes it pretty good, actually, into Formidable. Yeah, so there's his quick attack. So even though I'm big enough to trade, it will not be a trade because of how quick attack works with Formidable. Ooh, Absolver's Return. And that's going to be the game there. Okay. Yeah. We almost had it. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I could have done to just sequence things a little bit better, but we almost were there, and then we missed out on killing that Screeching Drake, and that, I think, was the tipping point there. So unfortunate, but I think with how jank that hand was for me and how bad that start was, I think we ended up okay. So either way, we'll go on to a Game 4 here and see if we can close out on a win. Here against Leary Danny for Game 4, playing a Mono Teemo Freljord Piltover deck. I'm sure it's like an Iceborne Legacy deck. I'm sure it's something completely ridiculous. I think this is actually completely keepable. I don't think there's anything I need to do here. If he comes out with Teemo turn 1, yeah, I'm getting punched in the face. He doesn't even have Teemo turn 1. Alright. I will take that, actually. Do I want to get greedy? Nah, we'll just hit for damage. Take the 2 where we can get it. Okay, Clump of Wumps, that's fine. Come out with another Petricite Hound, bank the 1 extra spell mana on the off chance he has a Teemo, because then I can Pokey Stick and still resolve the Petricite Broadwing. Fleetfeather Tracker as well, so we do have the Tracker combo with Brightsteel. I'm going to try it. I'm sure he has, like, Purple Berry Shake or something to keep the Teemo alive. You wouldn't run out the Teemo on... Or you would, and then I get to kill your guy for free. I will take that. All the way to the bank. Into the Broadwing. And now we can go into the Poppy as well. I have a Challenger to help keep Poppy alive, depending on what he plays. He is on full mana. He could Thermo Beam the Poppy, which he's not doing yet. So... And he's got nothing else he's going to be able to do, so we're in for really big damage and a free Poppy attack. Wow, that worked out so much better than I expected. Okay, there's Peddler. So here come the Shrooms. Okay, and an iterative improvement for a second one. Which is definitely a good combo. But I think we might be able to kill him on the next turn here as well. Hitting a Shroom, of course. Yeah, there's the second one. Legitimately kind of think I just want to play Fleetfeather, save the rest of the mana, and try to go for like a big attack on the next swing. Okay, Cloud, because he's going to be able to play a bunch of mushrooms like that. If he's got a second Teemo in hand, actually, that could be pretty bad, but he passed back after that, so okay. Okay, Fleetfeather doesn't have a Challenger yet, so we do have to do this, and this is going to be a really big attack as well. If he plays anything big and scary, we have a Keeper's Verdict to tuck it, send him back a draw. And I think... Okay, Tavern Keeper to try and keep himself alive. Understandable. So Fleetfeather pulls here, Broadwing pulls here, everyone else goes in. We Shield of Durand to get the Broadwing big enough to actually kill the Puffcat Peddler. And we're pretty big, and he dies unless he blocks. And he's still dead even though he blocks, unless he's got a Frostbite, which he's in the Freljord, he could do it. No, he's just dead. Okay, ran him over. Yeah, this deck, one of the reasons I like this version of the deck better than the Soraka version or the Freljord version is because of how quick it can get up and off to the races. That's exactly how this deck is supposed to work, is you just kind of play out a bunch of small guys, you swing with Poppy, everyone's now a big guy, and the game kind of ends. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to do another one, guys. I think 5 would be a little too much for a single episode here, but I could keep playing this deck for days, honestly. It's super fun. I'm disappointed we never got to show off the Galio too much. I think I played him in one game, and he just kind of died without doing much, but really, really fun deck regardless. I hope you guys enjoyed the games. I hope you guys like seeing the deck. If there's anything I misplayed, or if there are any other modifications or improvements I can make to the deck, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Let me know what decks you guys are playing. If you guys are playing Legends of Runeterra, let me know what you're playing down in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. If you enjoyed the video today, go ahead and leave it a like. And if you really enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. I upload a video every Monday, Friday, and on patch days as well. Once again, thank you guys so very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And I'll talk to you all later.